Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you guys are enjoying the content that we're throwing up. And make sure you guys hit the like button if you enjoy the video. And yeah, let's begin. You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips. Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing? Oh, Hall & Oates. You guys were amazing. Is everybody doing good? I know it's crazy out there in the world. I know everything seems like it's crazy and it's just full of pandemonium, but I am here to cheer you up because in this video, we are back once again with our What If series where we make up stories. And in this one, we are answering the question, what if Thanos found the anti-life equation? So I think the first thing we have to do before we get into any of the story is go over the question of what exactly is the anti-life equation. So the anti-life equation was originally conceived of by Jack Kirby when he left Marvel to go to DC and created his Fourth World universe, which told the stories of the new gods like Mr. Miracle, Orion, and Big Barda, as well as their nemesis, Darkseid, who of course will go on to become one of the most prominent DC villains. So the anti-life equation was introduced by Jack Kirby and would allow those who possessed it to gain control over any sentient being. And the desire to find the equation has basically been the motivating factor behind most of what Darkseid has done since his introduction. Now, just to address the elephant in the room, we should acknowledge that when Thanos was created, his design was heavily inspired by Darkseid, with creator Jim Starlin admitting that he changed Thanos' design to be a ripoff of Darkseid at the request of editor Roy Thomas. And so while it might seem a little too obvious to just take the thing that Darkseid's always looking for and have Thanos find it, I actually think it makes sense within the broader scope of Thanos' character. So, as you probably know, Thanos is obsessed with winning the affection of Mistress Death, and so it's that end that he seeks out the Cosmic Cube and the Infinity Gems because he believed that they would give him the power to cause enough death and destruction to impress her. Now, within that framework, if Thanos were to learn of the existence of something called the anti-life equation, well, what better way to impress Death? After all, what is the antithesis of life but death? So we won't spend a lot of time focusing on how Thanos figures out the anti-life equation. We'll just suffice it to say that he learns of it, and being an individual of great intellect and scientific knowledge, he figures it out. What's vastly more interesting than how he figures out what the equation is what he does with it once he does figure it out. And what I think he would do is travel from planet to planet, infecting the inhabitants with the anti-life equation in order to take control of their minds and build an army. Now, the rationale for this would be twofold. First, he knows that the more planets he goes to, the more attention he's going to attract from those who will want to stop him. Secondly, the anti-life equation basically kills the will to live of anyone it infects to the point that they basically embrace death. And so following a madman into battle where you'll basically serve as cannon fodder seems like a great way to accomplish that. It isn't too long before we see that Thanos' prediction is correct, as a distress signal was sent out from one of the planets that he goes to and is received by the Guardians of the Galaxy, who respond to the call. Now, when they arrive on the planet's surface and they realize that it's Thanos they're going up against, they know they don't have much of a chance in winning on their own, but they prepare for a fight as Drax and Gamora are always out for revenge on the Mad Titan. Now, as you'd expect, it doesn't go too well for the Guardians of the Galaxy. Thanos has already amassed a great number for his army, in addition to already being far too powerful for the Guardians even by himself. And so when the battle's over, Thanos has managed to infect all the Guardians with the equation except for Star-Lord, who manages to escape before being infected. And so angered that Star-Lord had got away uninfected, Thanos vows that he will make Star-Lord pay by setting his sights on his home planet, meaning that Thanos and his army are heading toward Earth. So Star-Lord immediately sends a message to anyone that could feasibly be of any help, letting them know of the army that Thanos has built and the fact that he's able to bring anyone that comes into contact with him under his control. And so the call is answered by virtually any hero you can think of: the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, all the cosmic heroes like Beta Ray Bill, Nova, and Silver Surfer, and even the X-Men, who are typically just chilling on Krakoa, devoting all their time to building a mutant nation and not really caring about anything else in the world, but then getting mad when the world stops caring about them. It is kind of a weird attitude to take, right? Like, I don't care about the world, but I care about what it thinks about me. The X-Men are like the ultimate angsty people. But anyway, we see some unlikely heroes thrown into the mix, right? Dr. Doom, who despite being a villain, doesn't really want to see Thanos come to Latveria and infect his subjects, so of course he agrees to help. The planning process of how to deal with this impending invasion by Thanos and his army does hit a snag when the heroes realize that even though they have a lot of firepower at their disposal, many of the people they'll be fighting are not willing combatants, but are only there because they've been brainwashed by the anti-life equation. For this reason, the heroes feel uneasy about killing them, and so they try to devise a strategy whereby they can defeat Thanos but spare the lives of his soldiers. And so when Thanos finally shows up, the heroes try to cordon off as many of his brainwashed soldiers inside force fields created by Susan Storm. And as they take the fight to Thanos, the most powerful telepaths among them, Charles Xavier, Jean Grey, and Emma Frost, try to probe the minds of the infected and purge them of the equation, but they have no success whatsoever, as the effects of the equation are too strong even for their combined telepathic prowess. And so the magic wielders like Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, and the Scarlet Witch try to find a solution to breaking Thanos' control by drawing on the mystic arts. But again, it's to no avail, as the anti-life equation is not magical in nature. And so finally it becomes clear that the strategy the heroes have put in place is not going to be successful, as Thanos is able to infect the citizens of Earth with the equation, adding millions of humans to his army in an instant. And so as the heroes scramble to keep the humans safe, they're unable to direct enough of their firepower to Thanos, and as a result, he's able to infect several of the heroes as well, turning them against their former allies. Now at this point, things are looking pretty bleak for the good guys here, and it looks like Thanos is going to make good on his threat to conquer the Earth. But before he's able to claim a total victory, the Marvel heroes get some help from an ally that they've never seen before. But we know this guy is Kyle Rayner, who's in possession of the White Lantern Ring. As it turns out, in the DC universe, there is an opposing force to the anti-life equation, which is known, believe it or not, as the life equation. And that force is extremely powerful and is even capable of remaking reality itself. And although the life equation varies in its nature based on who is writing, one version of the equation is rooted in the emotional spectrum. And that's the version we're using here because honestly, it's the most interesting. So at one point, Kyle Rayner basically created 7 White Lantern rings, which, when he brought together with his ring, can activate the life equation. And so I think that what would be interesting here is that Kyle basically picks 7 Marvel heroes to give these rings to, and he bases his decision on his ability to detect each of the 7 emotions of the emotional spectrum of these heroes. And I think this would be a cool moment because one thing that fans always love to do is figure out who from Marvel Comics would fit in with each Lantern Corps. And so this gives us a chance to do that. And while there are obviously multiple candidates that would be great for each emotion, we have to actually make some decisions here because there are only 7 rings. So for the emotion of love, Susan Storm is chosen due to her unwavering devotion to her family and especially her children Franklin and Valeria. For compassion, we're going to go with someone who embodies the emotion, not someone who needs to be brainwashed into feeling compassion as we see sometimes in DC. So we're going to go with Jean Grey because of the empathic nature of her telepathic powers. For avarice or greed, well, Dr. Doom is chosen because, he's Dr. Doom. Do we need to explain any more than that? To embody rage, the natural pick would be the Hulk. But since he's off doing his Immortal Hulk stuff, and basically wants to save the world by eliminating humanity, he's gonna sit this one out. But She-Hulk is a member of the core Avengers team and is just as rage-fueled as the Hulk. Really, Ryan? Ryan wrote this script. My writer Ryan wrote the script. She-Hulk sucks. Nobody wants to see She-Hulk with a lantern ring. You know who we're gonna give a red lantern ring to? We are gonna give a red lantern ring to Magneto because of how pissed off Magneto is just as a guy. Right? So Wolverine is chosen as the avatar of fear because of his ability to instill fear in others due to having one of the highest kill counts in the Marvel universe. Now to embody hope, who else could be picked but Captain America? And finally, to personify willpower, Kyle Rayner selects the current leader of the Avengers, Black Panther, and gives him his own White Lantern ring, stating that the rings will work more efficiently if they're wielded by individuals who have an emotional connection to one another. And since no one here knows Kyle, he won't have a connection with anyone. And so with these 7 individuals working together, the White Lantern rings activate the life equation, and Thanos' hold on the infected is broken, and those who fought on his behalf end up turning against him. The heroes use the White Lantern rings to rewrite reality so that those infected are returned to their homes and have no memory of being possessed by the anti-life equation and the actions they unwittingly took in the service of Thanos. And so they also wipe all knowledge of the equation from Thanos' mind. The White Lantern rings are then returned to Kyle Rayner, but he leaves one of them in the possession of Black Panther for safekeeping in Avengers Mountain, telling him that as part of his arrangement, Kyle may call upon him for assistance if it's needed within his universe. So yeah, that's how I think this would play out. I think it was a good call for us to remove the Red Lantern ring from She-Hulk. I'm sorry, She-Hulk, but you're just not really that interesting of a character. Now here's a funny thing, right? Thanos would almost totally destroy the entire universe, right? But we did get to see some Marvel characters wielding White Lantern rings, and then we leave the door open for more crossover down the road by leaving a White Lantern ring in the Marvel universe. And with Doctor Doom having experienced the power of wielding a White Lantern ring and knowing that the one that was left was with T'Challa, I feel like there's not much doubt that he would eventually make a play for it. And if he's able to get it, that would open the door to even more trouble for the Marvel universe. But let me know what you guys think, right? I think it was a cool idea. I think this was a really, really cool what if story. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. If you are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.